News broke about an hour ago that the Senate or the Congress finally reached a deal. Now they've been going back and forth on what's going to be in here, what's not. It was blocked the other day by Ron Johnson because he didn't even want stimulus checks in there in the first place. The stimulus checks went from 1,200 down to $600, which is what they've been cut down to, and it's nowhere near enough. And this whole bill is not really what is needed in this moment right now, but it's all that we're going to get, sadly, because in Washington, when it comes to actually helping people, they're not going to do the maximum. They're going to do the bare minimum just to get by and then wait for the next crisis to arise. So let's read about this let's read about this deal, see what's in it. It says lawmakers have finalized details on key economic relief measures, including stimulus checks and enhanced unemployment benefits, as they sprint Sunday to wrap up a long-awaited deal to address the worsening pandemic. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell and Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer both expressed optimism that lawmakers could finalize legislation as early as Sunday. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi told her leadership team on Sunday that she wants a vote Sunday, according to one person who spoke of the condition of the anonymity on the condition of anonymity to share details of the Congresswoman's private comments. Congress has until midnight to pass a temporary stoppage measure to keep the government open. Negotiations have decided to provide stimulus checks worth $600 per person. The size of the benefit would be reduced for the people who earn more than $75,000 a year. $75,000 the preceding year. Similar to the last round of stimulus checks, which, by the way, some people were saying that they're just now getting the last stimulus check. Like, this is so frustrating. But anyway, according to two people who spoke on the condition of anonymity to share details of private deliberations, the stimulus checks would provide $600 per person, including adults and children, meaning a family of four would receive $2,400 up to a certain income. Congress would extend the unemployment benefits up to $300 per week, which could start as early as December 27th. While there's broad agreement on stimulus checks and unemployment insurance, they caution nothing is final until the bill text is released. That may come as early as Sunday afternoon, which it's Sunday night now. Other policy disputes remain outstanding, according to multiple aides close to the negotiations, which could push the timeline back again. Oh my goodness. If they push this back, if they just cannot agree on the simple basics of this, then they need to be primaried or challenged by people who actually want to get something done. Let's see. House leaders are exploring another stopgap measure that would fund the government while giving 7 days. Okay. At 12:18 a.m. on Sunday, President Trump tweeted that Congress needs to give more money in direct payments. One of the few things he's right about. They need to give a whole lot more money in direct payments. There was actually a report that his aide stopped him from trying to draft legislation that would give, I think, 1,000. Yeah, look, it's right here. The Washington Post reported last week that the White House aides talked Trump out of issuing a public statement demanding stimulus checks be as big as $2,000 out of fear it would sink the delicate negotiations. Now, Trump's mind is as all over the place as it can be. He still has come from a civilian background, even though he was a businessman. So the logical thing would be, you need bigger stimulus checks in an economic depression when you got 3-mile-long food lines. So that would be the obvious thing to do. But with somebody who takes, big donor donations, or they're stuck in this Washington mindset and this old fashioned mindset of just work, just send them back to work, just do this. Look, we'll give them a little bit, they'll budget it. Like Steve Mnuchin, the Treasury Secretary, was like, if $1,200, it'll last you 10 weeks, just budget it right. So there are a lot of people are just out of touch, I would say. A lot of them are really, really out of touch. But Trump himself, he's out of touch, but then he's like, he knows what's popular at certain times. There's certain things like this that everybody can obviously agree on, that there needs to be bigger stimulus checks. He will push for that, but his aides talked him out of it. Congressional lawmakers appeared ready to ignore the president's demands. People close to the negotiations said that they did not expect the White House, however, to oppose the package over Trump's push for larger stimulus payments, although Trump has repeatedly scrambled congressional negotiations with last-minute demands. Lawmakers have agreed in principle to new stimulus payments. Senator Bernie Sanders and Josh Hawley, as well as Trump, have made a push for more generous stimulus checks, but those efforts are unlikely to prove successful, which is very, very sad. Finally, we get some bipartisan action on something that's actually beneficial to people, and all of a sudden we're not going to do that deficit. That we can't afford all that. Well, maybe people aren't even going to use it. They're going to save it up. Just any excuse under the sun not to pay out bigger stimulus checks. But when it comes to giving trillions of dollars to whoever, whatever huge company, Facebook wants an extra couple $1 million, some Raytheon CEO wants a couple extra million bailout money, they'll just send it right over. Red Rover, send that check right over. That's what they do. But when it comes to people, it's like pulling teeth for these people. And we finally get some bipartisan action. This is the type of bipartisan action we need, not having a bipartisan consensus to deregulate Wall Street. That's not what we need. The income criteria for the stimulus checks is expected to reflect that of the first round of stimulus payments sent by the Treasury Department earlier this year. The size of the payment would diminish for those who earn more than $75,000 in the 2019 tax year and disappear altogether for those who earn more than $99,000. Now, I know that some people would say that if you're wealthier, then you shouldn't get a check or so. But I mean, universality of payments, or any program that becomes universal, I say, in my mind, that keeps the animosity down. And I'm not saying somebody's rich is going to have animosity, but people feel like others are freeloading on the system, which is just like with welfare. How some people don't like paying taxes because they say, oh, I'm paying taxes for you to sit at home on unemployment and you're getting Medicaid and all this other sort of stuff. And there's no universality to that. So it feels like you're paying for somebody else to get something, when in reality, all of us should be paying for all of us to get something. So that's why it's universal. But besides that, adult dependents are not expected to qualify for the stimulus payments. People familiar with the negotiations said despite a push from congressional Democrats, the deal would include stimulus payments for families in which one of the parents is not a citizen. I don't have a problem with that, actually. The deal over extending federal jobless benefits for the millions of unemployed Americans at the level of $300 per week would cover up to 11 weeks of unemployment, at least through March 14th, aides familiar with the negotiations have said. An unemployment benefits program for contractor gig workers, which is also set to expire at the end of the year, would be extended for 11 weeks for those workers as well. Negotiations also agreed to extend the deadline for states and cities to use unspent money approved for them by the CARES Act. Two people familiar with the internal deliberation said. States and cities will have until the end of the year to spend billions of dollars before it expires and has to be returned to the federal government. The deal would instead extend the deadline for a full year. Republicans have successfully opposed Democrats in their demand for hundreds of billions of dollars in state and local aid. Many local governments are experiencing steep declines in tax revenue and have been warning of layoffs. Extending the deadline for using leftover funding from the CARES Act, however, allows Democratic lawmakers to say, hey, we still provided some relief to ailing municipalities. The agreement will also extend for 1 month a moratorium on evictions, which is getting pretty if there was like this mass evictions, like that would be an absolute disaster, because there was that footage of in Seattle, the people in the neighborhood throwing stuff at the police cars and kicking the police cars because they came to evict them and they don't have anywhere else to go. The agreement will also extend the 1 month. Oh yeah, I just said that. That is set to expire at the end of the year to people with knowledge of the investigation. Blah blah blah. Moratorium will be extended through January, at which point Democrats believe the incoming Biden administration can extend it again if necessary. The legislation will also provide approximately $25 billion in emergency assistance to renters. The people said, although it remained unclear how that money will be distributed, lawmakers have also appeared to resolve the needle-sum dispute over whether businesses that received Paycheck Protection Program loans and had them forgiven will be allowed to deduct the costs covered by the loans on their federal tax returns. Senator John Thune, the number 2 ranking Republican senator, said the costs would be deductible under the final agreement. Other hurdles remain under the discussion. Okay. So yeah, this is a pretty lengthy article, and I know these videos are already 11 minutes. Good Lord. But anyway, my main thoughts on this are, it's not enough. It's like the what they had to do because the pressure was mounting, which they always do this. They only do things when the pressure gets too hot, when it's just too much, when they can see that, hey, it's about to collapse, something's about to go wrong, we're about to run out of this, they're about to run out of that. Then that's when they're forced to take action, because we have a very reactive government. They don't take action ahead of time, they take action after the fact. So if they can see that you can prevent a mortgage crisis from happening, they won't do it. they'll let the bubble burst, and then they'll take some action afterwards that's not even enough, and they'll let the market handle itself. The market will rebound and handle itself. And it's just that really reactionary method of governing it's not working out, because we need to be more proactive so that we don't have to be in situations like this where we have all these problems that just seem to drag on for however long. So hopefully this gets approved and that they actually reached a deal. But if not, that's just going to be pitiful and ridiculous. So what do you guys think about this? I don't think it's nowhere near enough. It needs to be more, but this is what we're getting for the time being. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, like, comment, subscribe, like, whenever do it, however do it, wherever do it, just do it. It's your boy Red X Black, and I'm out. Peace.